Sleep slowly but steadily begins to overwhelm you. Is it the late hour, the exhausting journey, or the mesmerizing voice of the old man? You faintly recall stumbling to your tent and crawling inside. Then it is only darkness. Morning creeps up quietly on the arid wasteland. You wake up and step out of your tent and into the crisp air, yawning, stretching, and blinking in the orange light of the rising sun. The fiery orb's warm rays are welcome, in stark contrast to how you all will feel in a few hours. Your crew, groggy still after an early start, shambles around camp, busy with their chores. Some of them are still huddled around their dying fires. You look at the horizon to the north and find it empty against the morning haze. Yet you know that beyond that jagged line, the way station of Kernak awaits. A short stop on your way to a proper city, less than a week of trudging through the plains and you reach Torzag's shelter. You hope to rest there and find much needed work. In fact, this was the reason you took the Comitatus north to Terra Supra, the lands beyond. New opportunities. The previous Vargras of this traveling company perished several weeks ago, and even though you worked for her only for a few months and are indeed quite new to this wandering business, the crew elected you to take her place because she trusted your abilities. "Morning, Vargras." One of your guards walks up to you and draws you out of your reverie. "That old geezer you talked to last night is about to leave and wanted to say goodbye before he does." You nod and head to the campfires. You find the old storyteller in the process of packing his meager equipment while whistling a tune. You clear your throat discreetly. "Thank you for coming, old master," the old man says, still fiddling with his sling bag. "I will not go to Torzag's shelter with you. My path leads elsewhere. I'm grateful to you for letting me travel with your Comitatus, yes. And I hope I've earned my keep. Because he had no coin or anything of value when you came across him in the middle of nowhere 3 days ago, you allowed the old man to travel with you and eat from your stores, in exchange for entertaining your crew with stories along the way. And true enough, no hour has passed since without a tale being recited by the strange fella. He even made an effort to entertain you while sitting at your campfire last night. Be that as it may, you allowed him to tag along as an act of kindness." The old man turns to you and smiles innocently. "I may be able to repay you more properly by giving you some advice, eh? If you don't mind me saying, good master, you are only starting your venture as a Vargras, and perhaps you could use such wisdom. First off, there are a lot of rumors going around in a city as great as Grim Torzag, but even in smaller settlements too. Listen to these, for there's often truth to such talk, and gossips can guide you to business opportunities, valuables, or interesting places. Often, fresh news is the most valuable commodity you can possess, especially until you have a sizable cargo hold to haul large amounts of goods across the wasteland. If I were you, I'd find some work as soon as possible, preferably something your crew can manage without much difficulty. Perhaps from one of them trading houses. You could also find some passengers who are willing to pay for the security your Comitatus can provide, yes? Almost every Mancio has folk looking for traveling companions." The old man scratches his scraggly beard thoughtfully. "Before setting out, it is best to decide what your destination will be and prepare accordingly. Wandering around aimlessly in the wasteland is a sure way to get killed or to starve, good master. Yet one's chances are better when the burden can be shared with trusty companions. I'd start looking for such folk as soon as I'm in a big city. There is a man I know in Torzag, now that I think about it, who could help you out with much matters and more. The chap is called Braxius. Strange fellow, really, not only because of his peculiar lineage. You'll see. He runs a shop, yes. He'll buy any trinket off of you that you do not need any longer. He may sell you something useful too, who knows. I'm just remembering now, he once sold a Gavranian wood talisman to an orc mercenary who..." The old man stops abruptly when he notices the expression on your face and smiles apologetically. Where was I, good master?" "Ask him where you can find this man called Braxius." "Oh, aye. Braxius' shop just east off the Calrish market in a small street that has a dark stone statue of Macatus over a fountain. Best of luck. Irafons be with you, good master. I'd better go now." You watch the old man as he walks away alone into the wasteland. It is time to set out. Torzag's shelter is waiting, but before that it would behoove you to visit Kernak Way Station, only about a day's travel to the north. You could obtain much needed supplies and news there, maybe even find work, who knows, when we set out. So we're going to move there. It's going to take 6 points to get there. We have 8 movement, so let's go. The Comitatus descends into the great basin that shelters Kernak Way Station from the worst of the jagged wastes, dust and rock storms. Even at this distance from the walled compound, you can see that the outpost is vastly overcrowded. Dozens of Comitati and literally hundreds of travelers swarm the confines of Kernak Station, which is now surrounded by makeshift camps and improvised mancios. What is going on here? A pair of gruff-looking mercenaries walk out to meet you and give you half-hearted hail. The first one to speak is a tall, lean, tainted fellow armed with a barbed spear. "What to say, you folk just keep popping up like wraiths around a rotting corpse," he sighs heavily. All right, move your ass over there and try to settle in without a fuss. He points to a large area outside of the low stone walls, just northwest of the way station itself. We're going to keep our head down for now. You nod to the mercenaries and lead the comitatus to the designated spot. The crew strikes camp and everyone is settled in after a quarter of an hour. Time to explore. Welcome to Kernak Way Station. Sheltered in an arid basin surrounded by stone walls and guarded by grim mercenaries, Kernak Station provides all the illusion of safety most travelers crave. Yet a quick glance at the many signs of past destruction tells a tale of raiders, rock storms, or worse. Despite rebuilding time and again, it is not long before the Jagged Waste claims this place for good. While we're here, actually, what we need to do is we need to now free our slaves. Because we ain't doing that in this one. Let's go to the guarded compound and have a little chat with people. The whole compound is crowded with people. Travelers, comitatus crews, vagrants, mercenary war bands, trading house agents, smugglers, prostitutes, thieves, and of course, beggars. The largest stone building housing the tavern is filled to the brim with customers, so much so that you could not get inside for a drink. Luckily, they had the sense to set up a bar outside too, and the kitchens tried to serve as many of the clientele as possible. Should you be into jakra meat steaks or fried horvlave, that is. The noise and the stench of sweat and booze make you feel like you're in a war camp. Asking around, you hear of several organizations looking for transportation of goods and personnel. Here we go. But I think first we're just gonna have a little chat. See what rumors we come up with, you know? After ordering a mug of mushroom ale and some food, you sit down on a bench under dusty awnings and take a look around. There are all kinds of people here, ferocious-looking orc mercenaries arm wrestle at a long table nearby, laughing out loud at bawdy jokes. A tainted woman juggling knives with 6 long, free-jointed arms, intimidating dragonkin warriors in colorful steel armor, Tarkian traders lounging on large pillows around a small portable table with cups of coffee and a hookah. A dwarf selling scavenged junk from the back of a tumbled-down cart. Even weird insect people you have never seen before chittering away in their melodious language. There are some other Vagri you can talk to and soon learn the reason for the state of this place. Apparently, the Imperial legions have closed off the only pass through the steepest mountains in the south not too long ago, turning back anyone and everyone on both sides. This plunged the travel plans and business enterprises of many into utter chaos. People suspect that this is a reaction to the strange earthquake several weeks ago and the terrible windstorms that followed. The winds have been crazier than usual ever since, and many people engulfed by them complain about having nightmares and constant headaches. A young but uncharacteristically talkative Ashkulite novice has a sizable audience gathered around him as he relates what he has gathered on the topic of the winds that have gone mad. It all started weeks ago with that earthquake. People say that the epicenter was somewhere south or west of here. Since then, the wind has changed. Almost everyone here has had bad dreams or has heard strange voices in the wind. The further southwest one goes, the more intense it gets. Many of his audience complains about headaches. There is hushed talk of travelers going insane and their brains literally burning to a crisp, though such talk is difficult to believe. Ask if there is available work. You learn that while most travelers are trying to figure out what to do now, the representatives of several organizations are looking for Vagri to take their cargo north, mostly to Torzag's shelter. A quick survey of the options reveals several factions that are willing to pay you for hauling their cargo and taking some people to Torzag's shelter to the north. There are the agents of a trading house trying to cut losses, as well as a bunch of shady fellows, probably smugglers, who promise that you will not regret taking them and their stuff to the great city. Another group, some pilgrims who wanted to reach a shrine in the south, now wish to turn back towards the shelter. Last but not least, there's a company of foreign merchants from the Dragonlands looking for a new market. Whoever you choose, you will not be able to strike a deal with another group, and you will have to make sure that the goods and passengers arrive at their destination safe and sound. We're going with smugglers because we are criminals. It takes a little negotiation to strike a deal because the smugglers insist on dancing around the subject for a while. Eventually, you agree to take the 4 of them to Torzag's shelter along with their cargo of bogweed. Though the goods are practically contraband, they assure you that you will not have to deal with actually getting all of it through the city gates. Their membership at the Carpenters Guild should be enough assurance that they will honor the deal. As per the agreement, you have to travel to the shelter without unnecessary delay, and they will add their remaining supplies to yours when you arrive. You will be handsomely compensated when you reach the city's gates. You will load the goods upon leaving Kernak. Make sure you have 1 empty cargo slot before leaving. Buy some stuff. Now, we have a small amount of supplies. We have not got much coin. We've got 15 bros, 8 lig, and 2 changes, which I always pronounce as clangers. So I will be calling them clangers from now on, just so you know. We're going to buy some supplies to keep us going. I don't know what's cheap here. I really don't know what's cheap here, so we're not going to risk it. Because if we lose all our money now, we're dead in the water. Let us take some local news. So we've got some local news. So news you can trade in places. Passengers going for Torzak Shelter, we'll take them along with us. We are only partially defended now because we haven't got enough fighters. Trade routes are blocked. Could this be an opportunity in disguise? Konak Way Station is a buzz of traders who now have a lot of unsold merchandise on their hands. So that wine might fetch an especially good price up north. Let's buy some wine. How much can we afford? Let's get 20 wine, I think. Load the cargo. Put up the passengers. Oh, no. Have I not got... Oh, no. They told me to leave a space. Guess we're leaving the supplies behind. After your crew loads the cargo, your new commes take their place along the lines and on the carts. They remind you that going anywhere else other than Torzak Shelter renders your agreement null and void. So, Torzak Shelter, I think, is north of here, right? We're gonna follow the road, basically, I think. And we're gonna start a long journey. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're gonna wait here. We're gonna camp. Scouts aren't gonna find much because we're basically on the road. Defense orders, postcards. So we're gonna move along the road. And we can march a bit far. You know what? I'm gonna march. Because we're going along the road, we're making pretty good progress. Oh my god, we've got 1 day of supplies left. Oh no. Okay. Let's do a forced march. We're not very far away, but we are gonna have to end the day there. We are going to go at 50% rations. Another day, we can make Torzak Shelter. The Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your commes are in pretty foul mood. Something ought to go wrong. You are in luck, however, as nothing disastrous happens all day. Yes, people are cranky, but that you can live with. So you better do something about it. We've made it at least. Hopefully everyone will be okay while we're in Torzak Shelter. The Comitatus is in sight of the nearby settlement, eager to get some well-deserved rest. But what do the people who you took on at Karnak say about this? They seem happy to have reached their destination. The great Blackblood Mountain towers ahead, crowned with black fortresses and jagged battlements. The single immense wall that blocks entry into the bowels of the mountain looms ahead. Your passengers are making ready to depart, but first, they check their cargo. Everything's intact, we've not stolen it. The cargo is in order, and your passengers quickly unload it. After giving you their remaining supplies, the one in charge hands you the agreed-upon fee for your services and turns to you before leaving. You've just made some important friend, Vargras. Passengers are gone, as is their cargo. They will surely enter Torzak Shelter on their own. As for you, the Dark City awaits. You reach the fortified gates of the great city. After waiting your turn in the line of chatting travelers, bleating beasts of burden, swearing loaders, exhausted slaves, decrepit pilgrims, and fellow Vargri, you are greeted gruffly by guards under the shadow of the gatehouse. An inspection follows. You have nothing to hide, or at least there is no way they can find it. After getting through the inspection, you are told that now you have to pay the gate tax. We will pay. The issue of the gate tax is concluded, and you are free to enter the city. You head to the Mancio immediately. Some passengers part ways, thanking for your services. Torzak Shelter. Though the vast caverns and tunnels inside Blackblood Mountain merely gave refuge to war leader Torzak many centuries past, the imperial city of Tenebvitris, or as people have been persistently calling it, Torzak Shelter, that sprung up there following the war, managed to transform into one of the most important settlements on the continent. Often referred to as Surgorod City, the shelter not only houses the Cathedral of the Raging One in its immense, ever-dark caves, but it is also a bustling trading settlement and the center of obsidian harvesting in the region. Thousands toil and haggle under its wrought iron chandeliers every day, while servants of the Master of Curses deal out justice in the name of their malevolent god. Sprawling over a dozen blocks close to the city gate, the market district is a bustling, crowded place where you can buy and sell almost anything imaginable. Anyone entering the labyrinth of stalls, shops, and bazaars is constantly bombarded by a wide range of strong smells and invaded by the competing shouts of peddlers and salesmen. You make your way to the part of the market district that lies just east of the Kalrish market. It takes a while to locate the statue of Makatus overlooking a dried-up fountain carved of dark stone, but when you do find it, you can see that the shop is indeed right where Agos said it would be. Huddled between two taller, decrepit buildings, Braxius' storefront is not much to look at. Only his name is written on the stone slab above the doorway. No sign, no display, no stall, nothing. Inside is a dark little room with a dirty counter, a strange odor, nondescript trash that barely passes for wares, and a demonkin fellow fiddling absent-mindedly with some gadget. He looks up as you enter. "What can I do you for?" he says with a ghoulish grin. He can't help it. He has pointed teeth, a big nose, and a crown of jagged horns that not only adorns the top of his head, but also the sides of his jaws. His eyes burn with a pale orange light. and he's surrounded with an almost palpable aura of nervousness. Surely this could not be the man you were guided to. Are you Braxius? Oh yeah, in the flesh. Braxius bows his head theatrically. You explained to him that an old wanderer called Agos told you to come to him if you wanted to find the right people for a comitatus. Braxius smiles his fiendish smile upon hearing your story. Indeed, I do specialize in connecting such people. I might have someone you will find useful and even help you in getting them to join you. And I owe Agos, so there, everybody wins. There's a lady with a very special skill set I have in mind for you. Not only is she really good at finding her way across the wasteland, but also comes in handy in a fight and can track down basically anyone, or so they say. She's a bounty hunter. I was told she's looking for a comitatus to join so she can traverse the realms and claim bounties as she does. I also heard that she may have some kind of connection to the Imperials, but you'll have to ask her about that. Her name is Krifta. When you ask him what you owe him for this, he simply shakes his head. Nothing. Like I said, I owe Agos, and he told me that I can pay him back by aiding people he sends to me. Odd, right? Well, not so much, really. At any rate, I can arrange a meeting with Krifta for you. I will meet Krifta. Krifta sounds interesting. Minutes after you tell Braxius that you wish to meet this Krifta, he has closed down the shop and is leading you to where you can talk to the woman. You soon arrive at a stinking watering hole at the end of an alley somewhere between the market district and the Undercity. The sign has a feeding carrion bird on it. Underneath, crooked letters spell out the name The Grinding Gizzard. You find a quiet table in a corner while Braxius gets you a couple of drinks. By the time you finish the first, a woman walks up to you with a strange gait and greets you. Krifta looks like a cross between a human and some kind of carrion bird, clearly the result of the taint. She observes you with large, beady eyes and clacks her beak before addressing you in an almost chirping voice. So, it says you're recruiting. Are you in need of a scout or a tracker? And I can offer my services. Krifta here has been all around the continent. She's tough as nails and knows how to hunt down beasts and even men, adds Braxius. It's true what the demon spawn says, Vargris, but I can see that you have questions, Krifta says, clacking her beak a few times. I do have questions. Krifta lets out a strange squawk that might be a chuckle. Ask away, Vargris. We're not going to ask about her past at all, because we are smugglers. We do not care. We're going to ask what she can bring. What can she bring to our company? I'm handy with a bow. I use it to down most of my prey, be it man or beast. She muses for a while before going on. So yes, I'm a hunter, a tracker, a survivalist. I have all the related skills, ones that help out here the most in the Broken Lands. She's being modest, Captain Braxius intervenes. Actually, Krifta here is quite a renowned bounty hunter and marksman. Also, a huntress like her in your crew can provide all kinds of benefits, like allowing you to save on supplies. She gets you fresh food regularly. Krifta does not say anything. She just bows her head slightly. Why does she want to come with us? I thought it was quite obvious, Krifta says, blinking. My work, that of a bounty hunter, takes me across the wasteland to faraway places all of the time. Prey flees and tries to hide out there most of the time. I often travel alone, but lately I've had a rough encounter on the road, so I figured it is worth teaming up with others. Your comitatus seems promising. We're going to try to haggle the fee. We could pay freely. I don't want to start off annoying her. Krifta has joined our comitatus and gained loyalty. Excellent, she says as she pockets the coins. I'll buy rations and gear for the road with this. Also, there's a job I was offered, Vargris. You might be interested in becoming partners. We can talk about this later. I'll meet you at the Mancio. The sooner we leave this city, the better. She leaves as you down the rest of your drink. Braxius asks you to return to his shop with him. When you arrive, he turns to you. Now that the Krifta business is taken care of, I can help you recruit another fellow. There are two options, in fact. Want to hear me out? All right, a second recruit would be good. Good. There are two fellows here in Torzags that I can put you in contact with. Both of them have their own problems, so to say, that they are trying to solve. I can help you solve their problems for them. One, that is, I can help you with one of the two, and you'll owe me for this. You ask about the two individuals in question. One is a dwarf and a particularly nasty one, but don't you get discouraged. Given the right motivation, all that nastiness can be directed towards your foes, Captain. He's a specialist when it comes to dwarfy stuff, scrounging, smuggling, hoarding, business in general, and he's connected. He knows a lot of people in low places. Okay, that could be good for us. The Demonkin pawnbroker scratches the base of a horn before going on. The other one is an orc, and a tough one. He's somewhat of a celebrity around these parts, won a few gladiator tournaments years ago, but then he started to train folks who wanted to become warriors, rather than warring around himself, and I guess now he's fed up with that and wants to travel and fight again. A real champ, I think the dwarf because of the underground connections, because we are criminals. Braxius gives you one of his predatory smiles. Good, good. As I've said, Garrick is a dwarf and, naturally, a businessman. However, his business has seen some trouble lately. So much so, Captain, that the little twerp is deep in shit, and if you want him, you need to pluck him out of it. Normally this would mean forking over a substantial amount of coins of the silver variety to settle his extensive debts. But I can deal with that in my own way, yet in your name. And you would get the dwarf's gratitude and services. You would owe me a favor in turn, as I've indicated. You could afford, but after a few moments, Braxis clears his throat. Do we do this, Captain? Let's do it. Now we're talking, Captain. The pawnbroker claps excitedly. All right, you just go about your business now. I need an hour or so to get things done. When you feel like it afterward, make your way to the old bathhouse in the Undercity. Normally only the friends of the Loaders Guild may enter to do business with the Collegium, but tell them at the gate that you are there for Garrick and you were sent by yours truly. They will hand over the dwarf and you can tell him how it was you who has paid your debts. I believe that he'll need little convincing to join your crew after that. You nod and prepare to take your leave, thanking Braxius for his aid. Don't thank me yet, Captain. Before you forget, a day will come when you'll need your aid. He winks and sits down behind the counter. You're out of the shop and on the street again. I'm going to go into the Undercity, see if we can find ourselves some contacts. Beneath the large main caverns of Torzak's shelter is the maze of tunnels and narrow streets that lacks civic lights of the city and is thus in perpetual darkness. Locals call it the Undercity. Its notoriety is well-founded. Crime and desperation thrive in the twilight. So let's walk around the lakes. I think it'd be lovely. The largest open part of the Undercity is a series of caves with dark, clear waters forming underground lakes at their bottom. Inventive residents found a way to make up for lost living space by building their dwellings on stilts and rickety scaffolding. Still, parts of the lakes are fairly abandoned and could even be considered tranquil. You walk around the lakes for a while, painfully aware of the things watching you from their sable depths. Ask a group of wraiths hanging around the lakes about the area. Hey, wraiths! You approach the small band of wraiths and one of them moves forward, a smug smile revealing jagged teeth beneath a pale white visage. When you inquire about the area, the group laughs and the leader makes a not so subtle reference to the notion that some coin might help them divulge what they know. 7 changers, 1 for each of us. Fair deal, don't you think? After receiving your clangers, the wraiths speak at length about the area, bloviating about themselves and their influence in the process. As you continue to listen and ask questions, however, it becomes clear that various violent gangs are running the Undercity at large, and one organization in particular seems to become front and center, the Loaders Guild. Bidding the wraiths to elaborate further on the organization, you learn a great deal over the course of the next quarter of an hour, with the wraiths visibly animated as they chitter on about the Loaders. Eventually, it becomes clear that there is little more to learn, and so you bid the ghastly creatures farewell. Thanks, wraiths! I thought that was like a gang name, but I think that might actually have been ghosts that we just spoke to. Oh, let's go to the pleasure house, let's get some pleasure. The Undercity is famous for its many brothels and harlots. Most of them are slaves and belong to one of the Collegia or another criminal organization. That means most of them are fairly clean and will not unexpectedly slit your throat, yet one never knows in the Undercity. That doesn't sound good. We're going to leave. That sounds most unpleasant indeed. We're not going to the bathhouse yet. We've got to wait. So we're going to leave the Undercity. Actually, I think going to the Mansio might be a good idea. Exchange some travel. We'll receive a little bit of coin and gain 1 piece of local news. Everyone needs pots. The Potters Guild is happy for once. Oh yes, we need to sell our cargo. We're going to sell the luxury wine. We're going to sell the other wine. We're going to get loads of money. So we can buy some obsidian blades. They are contraband. I'm going to get arrested with these obsidian blades. Everyone needs pots. Let's buy this rumor. Valkyrie taking these wares to the Crystal Forest in the west. Speak of good profit. Escort for the church. Sergor, where are you going? To Aachen? I think we want to go to Aachen, if I remember rightly. I think Aachen was near Lumen. That's not far and gets us reasonably close to the crystals. That's not going to be a hard journey, so I think we're going to take that on. So let's go to the bathhouse. The old bathhouse on the northeast side of the Undercity is well known around the city as the Loaders Guild base of operations. It's a large, decaying building of once beautiful marble pillars, arches, and domes. Quite reflective of the fate of the Collegium, really. You make your way to the gates where a couple of rough-looking bouncers stop you. Entry only on official business, mate. The head guard lets you know without much enthusiasm. We're here for something. Everything changes when you mention the name of Braxius and the fact that you're here for Garrick. The guards become friendly, and is that relief in their voices? 2 of them escort you through corridors, marble halls, and hot steam rising from the baths to a back area of storerooms and cells. There they open up a cell with iron keys and shake a smelly dwarf from his sleep. The fuck no! The belligerent fellow growls as he's rubbing his eyes. Come to suck some dwarf cock. His captors are clearly not amused by his shenanigans. A quick slap to the back of his balding head silences him, though he quietly swears revenge. 'Tis the one. We're told he no longer owes the Capos, so he's all yours. Just when you're about to leave through the gate arch, the dwarf notices something and it yanks him out of his quiet stupor. He leaps surprisingly quickly to the side of one of the guards and grabs something on his belt, then tears it off. Before the guards could reach, he begins shouting, "You fucking bastards!
Thought you could steal this and get away with it. I'll tear you a new one.
Garrick appears to be holding some kind of an object, golden and with a complicated design. The guards are shocked and getting angry, but the sight of the red-faced dwarf and the object, as well as their orders, give them pause. Alrighty, the one who had the object in his belt says eventually. Keep the damn thing. It ain't good for anything anyway. There's a cold, metallic click echoing down the marble corridor. A moment of silence follows. The guards look flabbergasted, small droplets of sweat forming on their foreheads.
I'll keep it all right,
Garrick hisses.
It's mine. Oh, this?
Puts the device on the table. A wooden thing embossed with gold, something like a tiny crossbow with the limbs.
Terrible magic weapon, mate. Use an incantation, you'll be cursed so bad you'll beg for death.
There's a pause. Eventually, Garrick laughs out loud.
You went pale, mate, you did.
He laughs for a few more seconds, rubbing his eyes, then leans back in his chair and considers you for a few moments.
It's a pistol, all right? Ballistic weapon. My kin used to be able to make them, you know, using black powder. Very rare these days, as you know, since my ancestors got themselves cooked right and proper. Some of these little fellas remain, and I got my hands on one. Don't bother trying to buy it or anything, only I can use it properly, and you'll see how handy it comes in, aye? Plan is...
Garrick trails off for a moment.
The plan is to get back what's mine, sooner or later. But now I wouldn't mind getting out of this damn shithole. Suppose you'll want me to work for you. It's fine. Gotta start rebuilding and busying myself. So, the dwarf downs the last few gulps of his drink. I guess you haven't freed me for my own good looks and charm, eh? I know how this goes. I'll work for you and you'll see how fucking good I am at what I do. But I ain't working for free. Nah, that ain't me.
You agree on standard wages. Garrick seems content.
It's best I take me leave of this gosh darn shelter for a while anyways. And I got favours to call in all over the region. I'm gonna grab my stuff. I've got some hidden stashes these friends never got close to finding. Here, I'll meet you at your mancio.
You must see the doubt on your face because he adds,
I ain't gonna bolt if that's what you're afraid of. Little trust here, eh? Do the same. It ain't easy to put me trust in anyone after what happened.
Garrick is a dwarf of his words. It seems you do meet him at the mancio, all packed up and ready to go. Garrick has joined the Comitatus. I think we're ready to leave then. Comitatus leaves the mancio. You trudge towards the city gates. You approach the mighty gates of Todzag's shelter. One can see the scorching desert sky loom above the cruel black battlements. As the Comitatus takes its place in the long line at the vast gate, you notice a lean woman dressed in a bureaucrat's tunic and a cape approach one of your guards and talk to him briefly. They walk up to you soon afterwards. Apologies, Vargris, the woman says, bowing her head politely. I work for the Magistrate of Tax Collection. No need to be alarmed. I'm here to present to you an opportunity. I have a message attached to some documents that need to be delivered to Aachen, to a client of ours. Should you take the message, you'll be compensated upon handing it over. What say you? Well, we're going to Aachen. Thank you, Vargris. I'm sure it will be worth your time. Our client is very resourceful man who works for a researcher of some renown. He awaits the message in the town of Aachen to the north, where he rents a small apartment above a tobacco shop on Siltwade Street. His name is Levantius. With that, she hands over the leather case, bows her head, and takes her leave. You can see her approach the guards, talk to them briefly, point at you, and then walk away. After storing the case with your personal belongings, you signal the Comitatus to move on towards the city gate. The guards usher you through without an inspection. Good, because we're carrying contraband. Out onto the road we go. Okay, so we need to go to Aachen. All right, we're gonna move. We're not gonna do a forced march this time because we've got enough to get to where we want to go, which is north and then to the west. So we're going to move along the road. Even though you have expected an attack because of your wards, the adversary appears suddenly and the attack is imminent. The Ashman's war cries ring in the air as they ready for battle. There's only 4 of them, right? We've got a lot of soldiers. We're going to fight. We're going to defend equally, I think. I don't have a priority right now. So we've put 2 fighters on horses, so they'll be even better. We want to go on the defensive and make a makeshift barricade. That's going to be our action. We lost a horse. That's unfortunate. Just wounded at the moment. They've lost 2 people as well. They're targeting the crew, so we're going to defend the crew. Our big is low, so we're not doing really well, unfortunately. But we have a slightly higher chance of succeeding. So let's do another fight. Oh no, is that death? God, I hope we've just not permanently lost our goddamn deputy. They're disengaging. Maybe we want to pursue. That last round did not go well for us. Spend 2 MP to increase the chances of successfully healing your crew. I think we will, yeah. Let's spend 2 movement points for that. Give them time. Heal. Well, that's a really low chance of healing. We lost a horse as well. This has been a brutal combat. Victory is yours, and for now, you've managed to defend your wards. Oh, no, she's still there, I think. I think she's just injured. Well, we're going to have to camp up here. Can we get some supplies? We're going to try getting some supplies. We're not going to try hunting. I'm gonna try and improve morale again. We haven't got enough fighters to actually be able to post guards anymore. Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna give some additional rations to everyone. Oh, we did get some foraging. We did get some supplies. That's good. On the plus side, we've got way more like days worth of food now, you know, because they're dead. I don't think we've got any medicine, and I think that's part of the problem. How are we doing on our route? There's the crossroads, and then there's Aachen. 5 days? Should be all right, right? Commentators have seen better days. In fact, your commies are in a pretty foul mood. Perhaps you can still turn things around. Low chance of success. Let's increase our chance with our resourcefulness. You can't for the life of you change the mood. Worse, you only annoy people by trying. Something ought to go wrong. All day today, you're bombarded by petty, annoying, nagging, silly little problems, one after the other. It's not any stretch of the imagination that all this is because of the generally poor morale, but knowing the cause does not always alleviate the frustration. The result is that you cannot pay attention to the really important thing. The whole thing makes your head spin. We've lost resourcefulness. 3 large marble obelisks stand silently where the Emperor's Road and the Windway meet. Sometimes comitatus stop here before continuing their arduous journeys north, south, or east. The standing stones cared little for such visitors, for they have witnessed so many of their short-lived kind pass by. The whistling of the wind and the swirling dust never ceases here. This is it, the grand junction where the Emperor's Road meets the Windway, where it all comes together, the throbbing heart of the whole region, which is rather disappointing. 3 lean standing stones, each about 60 feet high, surround the crossroads. Impressive as they may be simply because of their sheer size, they are otherwise featureless, and there's nothing else of interest here, at least not at the moment. You know for a fact that this can be quite a busy sight as a lot of other comitati and travelers pass through here, often making camp for the night. The gigantic pointed obelisks are made of marble and stand on large round pedestals covered in dust from the plains. You try to look for differences between them, however subtle, but can't make out anything. Surprisingly, not even graffiti, although one would assume the countless passers-by would leave their marks on them. They loom indifferently over the crossroads, apparently not bothered by the comings and goings of mortals and the marching of time. You send out a few scouts and even look around a bit yourself. After some searching, you come upon a set of tracks. Nothing curious in itself, given that the soil is trampled upon by dozens of feet at any given time, but these were apparently left by a single person, not a large group of people, and even more importantly, they don't follow any of the main roads, but lead way into the wasteland. Follow the tracks? No, we do not have time for this. There's Aachen, along that road. Grifter's lost 1 vitality. Grifter's getting worse. We're nearly there. How much food we got? 2 days. Let's force march in. Welcome to Aachen. Travelers, merchants, patrols and the like move around sluggishly as you approach the settlement. While some of them are just loitering, maybe waiting for something or just merely resting. Yet one group stands out. At the side of the road you can see a handful of scantily clad people surrounded by men in dark robes. Screams can be heard. There is clearly violence going on. The rest of the travelers just walk by without paying any attention. Upon getting closer, you assess the situation. The men wearing black are without a doubt priests of Surgorod, who are in the process of mercilessly whipping the poor wretches who appear to be slaves. The angry rants of the priests make it clear that this is punishment for some offense, maybe an escape attempt. Blood soils the dust, and the Surgorodites are obviously taking grim pleasure in their brutal work. It's going to be a very tricky thing to do. Going to be a very tricky thing to do indeed, because we've already got 1 injured companion. Let's go. You order your companions to move forward and briefly consider to demand from the Surgorodites to let the slaves go, but then ultimately decide against it. They never would do such a thing. As your crew approaches them with obvious intent, the priests abruptly stop chastising their victims, cast aside their whips, and draw their weapons. You must be a fool to challenge the Church of Surgorod, their leader exclaims, but he does not sound quite as confident as he intends to. The other travelers outside the city are suddenly very eager to hasten their business and get away as quickly as they can, while the priests and your companions face off against each other. So fucking dead. Okay, Grifter, you have poison arrows, aimed shots, suppressing shots. They are all wearing armor, right? No, they're not wearing armor. Start with poison. Poison is attached. Okay, Garrick. Pistol shot, gas bomb. I think we can use lock and load. Get ready. A good hit on Garrick. Another good hit on Garrick. Another good hit on Garrick. A miss. Oh, I think that's Garrick down. I think we're dead. I think this might be it. It's a bad shot. We got any healing? I don't think we do. Yeah, Garrick is gonna die. Oh, we just keep missing too. I mean, she is injured. The amount of damage this does is very little. That's a crit and it does 2 damage. I don't think we're succeeding. Retreat not available. They just keep swapping places. I'm not sure what they're doing. Okay, we got one. We'll just keep doing this. I'm not sure how it's working, but it's working. Do aim shot in the middle. I don't know why they've kind of glitched out of hitting anyone, so I think we're good. I think strictly speaking, it's because we're at the back and they can't attack the back rank in melee and they've got no ranged. We're fine. Down. Okay, just keep doing this. Krifta, MVP. Literally 1 hit point. No. Oh no! They finally just turned around and killed him. Oh no! We lose. The fight does not go well, and what's even worse, it drags out too long. In the thick of it, one of the Sergorodites manages to escape and alert the settlement's guards. Suddenly, you find yourself surrounded by fresh forces, and from then, it is only a matter of minutes before you're subdued. You're stripped of your weapons, belongings, and even clothes while your crew watches on, not daring to oppose the authorities. As an offender of the imperial peace and the church, you were shackled and handed over to the Sergorodites. Toss the Vagras to the slaves, their leader says, then turns to you mockingly. You certainly love them a lot. It is not death, but not necessarily a better fate. Your journey has ended.